Guys, why is the American Bully so hard to breed? Who wants to breed this dogs? Why is this even important? Look, breeding the American Bully. Why? You ever remember that thing I said, mother, for what? I ain't gonna say it. People listen, T-Fit here with Fit Bully TV, and I always get that question. And I gotta be honest with you, it doesn't make me happy when I get it and say, hey man, I want to start breeding. And I'm stuttering because I'm trying to think like, I don't want to breed. I actually hate breeding. I have no interest in breeding. I hate that we have to do this. I'm doing exactly what I want. No interest in. Every day, and we don't breed every day, but like even what we're doing here. And so when they ask, I go, how do I answer this? You want to start breeding, what are some things you'd like to know? And I'm like this. You know what? Stay tuned. I'm going to pull up some questions. Shout out to the only BG. I have no clue what that means. Looks like a loving person. Actually, I think he's kissing a baby in this profile picture. So he's one of the first people. That's why I'm doing this too. One of the first people where I said, people say, hey, can you give me some advice? I said, my man, be more specific. I don't provide advice a lot. I try to give you solutions. Like here's some answers, some information for you to leverage and go and apply. His first question was, does the breed matter? No. No at all. If I was ever going to give someone a shout out, this is one I'll give. Shout out to West Coast Doodles. That dude found his lane and you know he does his thing. He's got a style to him. Shout out to quite a few people, ones that I even follow in the bully space, but when I see him pop up, super helpful, super kind, family man, he's doing his thing. So does the breed matter? No. Your intent is more important than the breed, what you're trying to achieve, and then how long you want to last in the space. So the American Bully, why is it such a hard dog to breed? It's because it's a hype dog. You know how long hype lasts? Well, sometimes it can last for a long time, and sometimes it's over in a night. When can you tell your dog is ready to breed? Dr. Tadlock said the same thing I've said 100 times. 2 years old is when you're hoping to start the process, getting your female pregnant. Okay? Then he tells you 2, off 1, breed her out by 4, lock her down, aka go and fix her, let her live a good life. When can you tell she's ready to breed? When that dog exemplifies every characteristic that you want to see in a dog and put in someone's home. Because a lot of that character is going to come from that mama. What should I feed the female while going through the process? That's the hard one. And unfortunately, you go join the feeding club, eh? You got to join me there. We'll talk more. We'll talk more when we do on the feeding stuff. I can't give that away, and I wouldn't tell anybody to do what I'm doing. We've tested and tried a lot of things. I can tell you what don't work, what does work, what not to do, what might work, and then it's so many other things that could go wrong. That's the truth. And I've been there. So the feeding thing, make sure if I had to give you one thing to do when it comes to making sure you're keeping a pregnant female healthy, make sure it has a good amount of vitamin E. It's funny because the follow-up question is, what's a good diet? Depends on what you're trying to achieve. Me and Mike Tyson, we don't need the same thing. Me and, Micah don't need the same thing. It's a little 8-year-old. Me and Jamarcus don't need the same thing. Foundation, we need protein, carbs, and fat as far as humans are concerned. And dog needs protein, fiber, and fat as well. Challenge is it's cold right now. Matter of fact, in our feeding club, someone literally said, they said, well, ask me a question about a pail of, meal they put together. I said, well, how active is he right now? So she's like this. Oh, it's -30 in Canada. I said, ain't nobody going outside no -30 degrees, so her dog's not super active. So you want to cut this up, that, boom, you're good. See what I'm saying? Even environment impacts what you would feed your dog. Best place to shop for dog food, your local grocery store. I mean, it's that simple, especially if you're going to do raw or cooked food. Now, I'm telling you this to say, get back to this right here. And I'll answer the more of his questions because you go, look, again, first person, you got to zoom in. First person that when I said, yo, my man, don't work that way. Send me a list of questions and I'm happy to try my best to create videos and content and educate, which is what I really do. And he said, okay. And matter of fact, he just sent the question. I said, dang, that's the first person who did their thing. Boy, they said something. These are good questions. These are fair questions, people. But you say, why is the American Bully so hard to breed? It's because everybody's breeding everything. And if people could breed a bully goat, they would, and turn everything bully. So they could up the price because you're talking about adding a design. But here's the thing about a design. The more designed it gets, the more function it loses, the more life it loses. We're cutting 2 to 3 years off a dog's life in general, especially when we start adding super components. So you do know this. Even the hairless cats, the Sphinx, they were designed to help with healing. You have something going on with your knee, the cat get up on you, lay on you, and when it's energy, it's warmth. Those cats are pretty warm, actually. Literally supposed to help with healing. Most things were created for a purpose and intent, and here y'all are, people out here trying to create hairless bullies. What's the intent? So you can sell it for a higher price and call it rare? Look, what's rare is if a bully lived past 15. That's rare. That's the rare. That's the problem I want to solve. Give me that bully, not this new design, new color, and they got that goat long hair. You go, look, the motherfucker already can't breathe. You already trying to create more of a smash face, more pronounced head, and more brachycephalic components, which means long term, more health problems. So when they say, hey, why is this so hard to breed? For one, people believe and associate this with a dollar bill, and that's fine. We all gotta eat. And people say, man, I got this dog, I just want to do one breeding. They learned the hard way. They said, man, I should have never done that. I ain't ever doing that again. That was not worth my time, energy, or my life. Because it becomes a thing, right? Another question he asked was, what if the female sits down while in heat if a male does try to mate? So he's talking about basically natural ties. What does it mean when a female is not interested, she's not flagging, sticking her vulva out? It means she wants no interest. Remember that whether you believe it or not, she could be bleeding. The dog only ovulates for 3 days, and sometimes it can last for longer, meaning her wanting to being a horny goat. But objectively, you got 3 days when those eggs are dropping most times. And if the dog is not interested and you not ran progesterone tests, which tells you when she's really ready to breed, then you're shooting arrow in the dark, hoping something magical happens. So what if the female sits down while in heat if a male dog tries to mate? I mean, she's not ready, or she won't be bothered. In the first 3 to 4 days, especially, she's in a highly infected state, so I wouldn't breed her at all. And what do you do if you had shedding problems or smells, odor issues, basically? Look, you got that dog smelling like a corny cow or corn chips. What ends up happening is, unfortunately, the dog is probably eating too much dog food. Hence yeast buildup, hence smelly ears and paws, scratching excessively. What do? You got to change the dog's food. You got to flush the system. You need to fast the dog for 2 days and then go through a cooked option, or at least add some stuff to keep the liver functioning at a low level. We'll talk more in detail, but shout out to, again, the_only_BG. And he was one of the first people who messaged me back some questions. Everybody says, okay, I'll get back to you, because they weren't that serious. Maybe he's serious, maybe he's not, but I am. Which is why we're here. So you want to know why the American Bully is so hard to breed? For one, everybody thinks they can do it. Challenge is 9 out of 10 people don't actually want to make the dog better. They want to make their pockets better. And if you make your pockets better, you got to add a 6 foot to this dog. You got to add bigger bone. You got to add bigger head. All the problems that Chris will tell you, as he said, will correct themselves because Mother Nature wants to correct themselves. So the bigger the head, the bigger the problem. The bigger the bone, the bigger the problems. Too skinny is it's a big problem. So many issues we're creating, and none of it's sustainable. Sustainability. So why is it so hard to breed? Because none of you really know where to begin. And unfortunately, when you do start, you get dogs from people that can't mentor you. Then you turn around and they have to ask me a bunch of questions. And that's beautiful because I see the opportunity. So I'm packaging pet ownership, breeding one-on-one. What other things? Managing gestation. What does it mean to manage a group of puppies? How do you choose your puppies? Because Chris said in a live, one of the hardest things that you have to get right is actually making sure you choose the right dog. You could do the perfect breeding, choose the wrong dog, and somebody else get it. It's a wrap. It's a wrap. You've because at the end of the day, with all the science in the world, you're breeding 2 dogs hoping to get better dogs. And you only know that after a couple years of work. So why is American Bully such a thing? Why is it so hard to breed? Why is it such a problem? Because 9 out of 10 times people are the problems. Dog doesn't. He can only do what it's allowed to do and be what it's supposed to be. And I hope if you're here listening and watching that you're choosing to be better, that you're choosing to do more for the dog, that you're trying to improve. And if that's a reason why you want to breed, then you're starting off better than most. And you'll probably last a lot longer because you want to learn from each breeding. There are people who drop litters every other month, every so many weeks, and all the time. I don't keep up with them. It's none of my business. What I do know is the world doesn't need another American bully. We'll let that resonate for a second. Jamarcus once came to me and he said, I want to be a personal trainer. And it was a gym full of kids. So you see all this stuff happening, people sweating, and he's excited because the energy's there and it's magic. It looks magical. And I said, why? The world doesn't need another personal trainer. And that'll throw a person off when it was initially their hope and dream to walk down this fitness road. And one question, change your life forever. What do you really want to do? It's a segue into getting into other industries and creating opportunities, but it's not the thing. The world, when you look at a personal trainer, if you're watching this, you don't give a shit about them. That person's not interested. He's got muscles, good for him. You move on. Doesn't mean it. Someone's got a beautiful dog, they say eco, man, that's a beautiful dog. Good for him. Doesn't mean anything. Of course, you're grateful and say, hey, can I pet him? Can I see him? Of course. But the world don't need another American bully. That's why we don't rush to try to produce more. And we have a community where we could sell them. But the question we have to ask ourselves, what can we do for the dog? How can we help the dog? How can we better the dog? How can we better the breed? And if we can't do that, then it's time for us to shift and do something different. Guys, keep taking care of your dogs. Thank you for all the people who ask questions. If you're looking at breeding the American bully, good fucking luck. Does the breed matter? It matters if it matters to you.